Hi everyone, and welcome to my first training tip of Christmas. And this one is have a purpose. What I mean by that is knowing what the aim of every run that you're going on is. Now that could be training specific. It might mean that it's an easy run or 6 times 1 kilometer reps at 4 minutes for the rep. Or that aim could be something perhaps a little more general, maybe to de-stress or even just to enjoy being out in the countryside. But whatever that purpose is, check in with yourself a couple of times during your run to make sure you're actually fulfilling that. So if it's an easy run, make sure that you are still keeping it at an easy effort. And if your aim was to enjoy being out in the countryside, make sure that you're taking the time to do that and not getting too fixated with looking at your watch or checking your pace or anything like that. Having a purpose for your run is really great just for helping you get out of the front door if your motivation has taken a hit, but also for making sure that your run is as effective as possible, and that all builds into really good training. So good luck, enjoy your runs and have fun. I'll see you again soon. Hey everyone, and welcome to day 2 of my 12 top training tips for Christmas. And this one is keep a training log. Now, I don't just mean looking at Strava and seeing all the stats from that. I mean actually writing down some reflections and thoughts about your run. Going back to yesterday's tip about having a purpose for the run, you can note down whether you achieved that, how you felt on the run, and also note down anything that might have affected how the run went. The weather, how tired you are, what your training load has been previous to that. Writing something down is a really great cue for having that little bit of self-reflection, but also for creating a fantastic database and log of what you've done to look back on when you're planning a new set of training. It's a brilliant way of keeping on track, know that you're doing the right thing, and also flagging up any potential problems like injuries or overtraining. So find a way to do it, either do it on Word or Excel on a computer, or go really old school, buy yourself a diary or a notebook and get logging those runs. Hi everyone, it's day 3 of my top training tips for Christmas, and this one is pay attention to your effort. Now look, things such as GPS watches, heart rate monitors and power meters are fantastic bits of tech for monitoring your performance and your improvement, but these should always be combined with a perception of your own effort levels and what that means for you. You know, an easy run one day might feel less so at that pace on another day, and this could be for any number of reasons. You could be tired, that the weather might be rubbish, or you might have done an awful lot of training beforehand. So being in tune with your own effort levels is a really good way to make sure that your training is done in the right way. So tune into your effort and don't always be a slave to what the tech is telling you. It's day 4 of my 12 top tips of training, and this one is that recovery is part of training. Put simply, you will not make improvements if you don't recover properly, because recovery is when the adaptations happen that turn you into a better runner, as well as keeping you fresh for your other training. Now, recovery doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. Recovery could mean doing a very, very easy session, a bit of cross training, some light conditioning. But what is important is how it fits into your program. Now that is both on a weekly basis, so not doing too many hard sessions in a week and making sure that they're spaced out well. But also in terms of your longer term plans, if you've just finished a target race, having a block of easier training after that before attempting the next main goal that you have. I'm going to talk a little bit more about long-term planning on another day. So, recover well to perform better. Hi everyone, and it's day 5 of my 12 tips for training of Christmas. Obviously Christmas Eve, I'm getting in the mood, so I've got my Santa hat on. Now this tip is that strength is important. If you're like me, strength training is one of those parts of the overall training that can get overlooked. Of course, that is a mistake. Having a good kind of whole body strength program is fantastic for improving your performance, staying injury free, and generally improving your running form. Now, anything is better than nothing, so I am making a resolution to get a bit more regular with some basic body weight exercises. Now in the new year we'll do some more detail on this, and I'm going to ask Gemma very nicely to help me because she is the expert on these things and knows a lot more than me. So watch this space, but in the meantime, do a bit of strength work, become a better runner. Speak to you again soon. Happy Christmas everybody, and it is day 6 of my 12 tips for training of Christmas. And this one is about having fun. Now look, of course it's always important to have goals to be aiming for, but despite all of that, we should always make sure that running remains fun. I always think you should still get that thrill of lacing up your shoes and getting out of the front door for a run, and not doing it just because a schedule tells you that you've got to. And do you know what? If you actually keep that sense of fun, you're so much more likely to hit your goals and make improvements. So, put a smile on, get out running, and make sure that running stays one of the most positive things in your life. Happy Christmas everyone, and I look forward to chatting again very soon. Hi everyone, it's day 7 of my 12 training tips of Christmas, and today's tip is mix it up a bit. It's really easy just to get into habits and keep doing the same thing over and over again, and in terms of training, this can lead to plateauing and even then sort of frustration at a lack of progress. Now in these uncertain times in terms of races, it's actually a great opportunity to try something different in your training, to mix it up a bit. This could be as simple as adding an extra session to your week, experimenting with running easier, there'll be more on that tomorrow, or maybe just trying some different routes. So get out there, try something different, and watch for those improvements to come. Hi, and it's day 8 of my 12 training tips of Christmas, and today's tip is take it easy. Now there's an oft-quoted aphorism that says the slowest runners in the world are elite Kenyans on an easy day. Now that's maybe stretching things a bit too much, but it does reinforce how going easy really does mean easy at whatever level you are operating. Now I know this is something we've covered quite a lot recently, but its importance really can't be overstated. Get it right and you'll see improvements, and your training will have the right balance. And this also ties together some of my training tips from the last few days, such as having a purpose for your run and monitoring it, looking at the importance of recovery, monitoring your effort levels, and mixing things up a bit. So go out there, take it easy, and be confident that improvements will come. Hi, and it's day 9 of my 12 training tips of Christmas, and today's tip is run tall. So I'm going to do a couple of days with some really simple form tips for you to think about. And when we say running tall, what we mean is making sure that your body is nice and fully extended with your head up when you're running. So that doesn't mean necessarily being absolutely bolt upright. Some sort of natural forward lean is quite a good thing, but any such lean should be from the ankles and not hinging at your waist or slumping your shoulders or head forward down like that. Positions that we can easily get used to in everyday life, sitting at computers, in cars, or looking at mobile phones, and can then creep into our running, especially when we start to get fatigued. Now, running tall allows you to harness your body's natural elasticity, and that is absolutely crucial to be able to run as efficiently and effectively as possible. Now, if you want to learn more about this, I cannot recommend enough this fantastic recent book by movement coach Shane Benzie, The Lost Art of Running, where he goes into huge detail about that and loads of other things. It's a absolutely brilliant book about running. So if you've got any leftover Christmas money that you've been given, I definitely suggest having a look at that. So next time you're out on your run, check in with your posture, and as soon as you start to feel any slumping forward, try and pull yourself up nice and tall. Good luck. Hi everyone, and welcome to day 10 of my 12 training tips of Christmas. And today's tip is pay attention to your balance. Now, if you're unbalanced when you run, then you're not going to be running efficiently, and you also risk overloading one side of your body, which could lead to injury. Now, most of us have got a dominant side, and that can influence balance. So doing some strength training to ensure that you're even in your body is a really useful thing. But there are plenty of balance exercises you can do to help too. Now, those of you who train with me across the summer will have done plenty of single leg deadlifts, walking lunges and slow high knee marches. But here's another exercise you can easily do twice a day and is really effective. And it's as simple as standing on one leg when you are brushing your teeth. Now, obviously, you're going to need to alternate your legs. I tend to do 30 seconds on each leg before swapping, or 1/4 of my mouth if I'm doing the recommended 2 minutes of brushing that dentists ask you to do. Now, once you find that nice and easy to keep your balance, you can turn it into a basic single leg squat as well. And that really does work very, very well. So, be balanced, run well. Hi everyone, and it's day 11. Yes, the penultimate day, you're probably glad to hear, of my 12 training tips of Christmas. And today's tip is get well fueled. Now, I suspect I'm not alone in having overindulged somewhat over Christmas. So one of my New Year's resolutions is definitely to get my nutrition back on track, and particularly in relation to my running as well. Now, it's actually a really great time to review what your running nutrition is like at the moment, and there is no better place to start than reading Gemma's notes from her brilliant training talk she gave last year on nutrition. There's a couple of points in those notes that I really want to bring out now. The first is that one diet doesn't suit everybody. There's no one size fits all for this because we're all different. It's about learning what works for you. And that's the second point, that it is a really useful exercise to keep a journal, a log of what you're eating and how that affects your training. You might want to do that linked up with the training log that I suggested that you keep for your general training, or possibly keep it separate. It's completely up to you, whatever works. But in doing this and following the basic principles of nutrition, you can ensure that what you're eating is the best for your running. So with that, I'm just off for a beer and a couple of mince pies. See you tomorrow. Hi everyone, so here we are, the last of my 12 training tips of Christmas. And today's tip is to think long term. Now, as a coach, I'm often asked to put together plans for upcoming races, which I'm always delighted to do, but rather less often asked to help people with their long-term goals. Now, thinking further ahead is actually critical if you are serious about making improvements. So, as this new year starts, why not have a think about where you want to be with your running in 12 to 18 months' time, and then have a think what you might need to do to get there, the stepping stones, if you like. Or you could turn that on its head slightly and think about what your ultimate performance goal is. And then again, think about what you might need to do to reach that goal, and then decide how long you think that might take. Now, of course, these are not the easiest concepts, So Gemma and I are very much here to help you with those if you need us. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed these little tips across our Christmas break, and I hope that you've all found at least one thing in them that will help you with your running in 2021. We look forward to sharing that journey with you. Bye for now.